So the 49ers played their second preseason game. That's coming up at 1 p.m. Pacific. 49ers at the Las Vegas Raiders. They did have the joint practice on Thursday. So Kyle Shanahan will decide, he already has, obviously, how he's going to manage the starters in this game. He did say he wanted Brock Purdy to play some. So some of the starters will be playing this game. I can guarantee you more of the projected starters will be playing in this game than they played in the first game against the Denver Broncos, because basically none of the projected starters played against the Denver Broncos. So that's the first thing I'll be looking at in this game, is just who's out there, who's not. Don't expect to see Christian McCaffrey. I wouldn't think Fred Warner will be out there. Nick Bosa has the neck soreness. He won't be out there. Trent Williams won't be out there. And so it's just a matter of who they decide to play, how many reps these guys get. And that's probably the main thing, is that, once kind of figure out the starters out there, it's going to be looking at, the pecking order of where the next guys come in. And the first one is Connor Colby, the left guard. Ben Barch will not start in this game. He has an elbow injury. Chris Furster, about a week or so ago, said that, basically he's the guy projected to be the starter, Ben Barch, taking over for Aaron Banks. And so with Barch out, then how do the 49ers work that left guard situation? Colby has stepped in and played with the first team. Nick Zakelj has also played a little bit with the first team. But not only who starts at left guard, but how that player plays will go a long way to kind of finalizing some things, perhaps, at least with the depth chart. Connor Colby, I did not have him making the 53-man roster up until a week ago, and now I think I would probably put him on the 53-man roster. I think starting job week 1 is still very much a long shot, but Connor Colby, definitely somebody to watch in this game. I did do my 5 to watch at NBCSportsBayArea.com, and he led the list. After him, I went with Dallas Flowers, a cornerback who will start, I'm sure, in this game in place of Renardo Green. He's number 35. Keep an eye on him. He's a long guy who is 6'1", about, 190, 200 pounds, something like that. He was a really good player early in the 2023 season for the Colts. He won their starting cornerback job and was playing very well through 4 games, and then he sustained an Achilles injury that knocked him out for that season. Then the 2024 season was kind of a wash. He ends up getting cut by the Colts, signed by the Buccaneers, cut by them, ends up with the 49ers. No big surprise because of Gus Bradley. Gus Bradley was the defense coordinator of the Colts. And now Flowers looks healthy. He's running well. He's been making really a lot of good plays and probably been the 49ers' most consistent cornerback in training camp, other than Deommodore Lenoir. And when I say cornerback, I mean a guy who lines up on the outside, not the nickelback. So anyway, the nickelback too. I wouldn't expect Upton South to play just because he's been out now for a week. Calf injury. I wouldn't expect them to just bring him back into a game setting, probably looking to work him more slowly, more gradually back into the practice mix. But with Upton Stout not playing, we'll see about Trey Brown and Jason Pinnock. Those are 2 guys who are battling discomfort in their heels. We'll see if they're out there. I wouldn't expect them to, just because they didn't practice on Thursday. But another opening for Chase Lucas at nickelback. Going back to my 5 to watch, so I had Colby, Flowers, Marquis Siegel, a rookie who's really come on strong, now starting to make a bid for a starting spot. Jason Pinnock has left him a little bit of a sliver with an opening with his heel injury. Jair Brown, I don't think, has really taken over that job either. And so that means Marquis Siegel has a chance. So, 2 of these guys are kind of under the radar rookies, draft picks a little bit, with Connor Colby being a 7th round pick, Marquis Siegel being a 5th round pick. And then a guy who's not under the radar is defensive tackle Alfred Collins. I have him listed as a guy to watch just because of the 49ers defensive line where it is. I think Collins is going to start in this game because the 49ers base layer running out of defensive linemen to play. So more than likely, their starting unit on defense could be comprised of Jonathan Garvin at one end, maybe Bryce Huff at the other defensive end spot, and then the defensive tackles, Kalia Davis and Alfred Collins. So Alfred Collins needs to work on his technique, bending his knees, playing with leverage, not being so straight up that he's able to get pushed around, or offensive guards are able to kind of get leverage, get under his pads and push him around. So Alfred Collins, definitely a work in progress. That work has to continue today against the Raiders. Also, I put running back Corey Kiner. I know he's going to get a lot of carries in this game. I would think he would anyway. And with the 49ers situation at running back, Corey Kiner has been healthy. He's been productive. He looks good. He needs more work in like blitz pickup, pass protection, reading those keys. But every rookie coming in has to do that. So Corey Kiner, one to watch as well as he battles for a spot on the 53-man roster. The 49ers might find themselves in a position that they were in last year with Cody Schrader, who had a very good training camp, but the 49ers thought, well, we can release him. We got needs in other spots. Bring him back to the practice squad. That didn't work out because the Rams claimed him, and he's been on their 53-man ever since. That's one of the reasons why I do believe 49ers should keep and will keep two quarterbacks on the roster. Last year, they kept the three. That kept, one player off the roster at another position that they could have kept. They went with three quarterbacks, and so they lost a couple of players, or at least they lost one player because of that. So this year, I think it's very clear cut. It's Brock Purdy, it's Mac Jones, and then there is a huge drop off to really not an NFL 53-man caliber quarterback on the team other than those two. So right now it's Carter Bradley. The 49ers have released Tanner Mordecai a couple of times. He hasn't been picked up by another team. So I think they keep two quarterbacks on their 53, and then that third guy will be on the practice squad. That is, of course, unless a quarterback they really like shakes free, that they feel could bring something to the table as the third corner. Speaking of Corey Kiner, 49ers did add Jeff Wilson Jr., a familiar face this last week. He will see some playing time, and it's very much a long shot that he's going to make the 53-man. He was out there without a team for this offseason. When the 49ers did bring him in for a tryout, they ended up signing Amir Abdullah, who is a running back / special teams player. Abdullah injures his ribs, goes on IR. They bring in Jeff Wilson. But Jeff Wilson will get an opportunity to show what he can do. Other guys to watch, of course, Jake Moody. I don't think Jake Moody is one missed field goal away from losing his job for the 49ers going in another direction, but multiple missed kicks and an apparent or an obvious lack of confidence could send the 49ers down that road. But right now, Jake Moody just has to not implode, and he will be the kicker week 1 of the regular season. The punt return competition is on. Jacob Cowing, let's see how much time he gets on offense. Same can be said for Junior Bergen. What these guys do on offense, what they do handling punts. Do the 49ers keep both of those guys on the 53-man roster? I kind of think they don't. In fact, I would say when it comes to the 53-man roster, 49ers could just keep 4 wide receivers initially on their 53. That is, if Demarcus Robinson gets a suspension from the NFL. So if it's Demarcus Robinson starting on the reserve suspended list and Brandon Ayuk starting on the reserve PUP list, that means that if they kept 4 wide receivers on the 53, those 4 would probably be Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, Jordan Watkins, and then maybe Russell Gage. Well, no, it would be Cowing. Let's go those 4. And then if they cut a guy like Russell Gage, Robbie Chosen, Isaiah Hodgins, any of those guys, they could bring whomever back, a couple of them back to the practice squad, and then just elevate those players from the practice squad for the first couple games. Maybe the first 2 games have one guy come up, and then the next game, have somebody else come up until Demarcus Robinson comes back. So that would be something to keep an eye on too, just how the wide receivers are going to shake out. Again, if Robinson and Ayuk aren't on the team to start the season, suspension for Robinson, injury obviously for Ayuk, then the 49ers could keep 4 receivers. And my guess, again, would be, just to reiterate, to get it in my mind too, would be Jennings, Pearsall, Watkins, and Cowing, with Junior Bergen, being in the mix as well. So that's something to keep an eye on, because once the 49ers bring back Robinson and Ayuk, they'd have to create roster spots, and maybe they don't, release any of those wide receivers. They just add to that mix as time goes on. Hope that made sense. And then the other guy to keep an eye on, Nick Martin, the rough opening game against the Broncos, really good attitude about how to approach work and how to improve going into preseason game number 2. So Nick Martin, let's see if he can cut down on those angles, wrap up when he tackles, and be better in pass coverage. So those are some of the things I'm going to be looking at, certainly in the first half of this game, 49ers and the Raiders. And I might just record a video at halftime that wraps up the first half of action, and then we'll do something at some point after the game as well. But let me know. Drop it in the comments section if you'd like to hear me or see me do a video based solely on the first half of what I see and what it all means and everything like that. And I will, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that at halftime. So anyway, thanks for watching this video. Hope you can watch the game. If you don't, just keep it right here on my YouTube channel, and I'll try to fill you in on everything you need to know. So that is it for now.